Libra, my dear, right now the universe is already in motion around you. This moment is not an accident. You did not just happen to find this message. You were brought here because something hidden, something that has been quietly building in the unseen, is preparing to rise to the surface. The purpose of this message is simple yet profound: to prepare you for what is coming, to anchor you in your own strength, and to remind you that you are the living scale of justice. You are not the one under judgment. You are the standard by which truth will be measured. In the days ahead, a hidden truth, one that has been locked away in silence, will begin to make itself known. And when it does, you will see exactly why you were guided here. Feel into this for a moment. Has there been a quiet tension in your life lately, like the air holding its breath before the rain begins? Have you noticed subtle signs, small misalignments, strange coincidences, moments that made you stop and wonder if there was more beneath the surface? These are not random. They are your intuition speaking, urging you to be alert, to be present, and to be ready. If you feel this truth stirring inside, type the words, "I am ready to witness the truth," in the comments below. This will not only connect you with might, will send a signal to the universe that you are open to receive what is yours. Before we go deeper, I want to pause and express my gratitude for you being here. Every view, every like, every comment, every subscription, these are not small gestures. They are threads weaving you into the family we have built here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot. It is your presence and your support that keep this circle alive, allowing me to share messages of clarity, transformation, and divine timing. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. You are part of this unfolding, and without you, it would not be the same. Libra, beloved, I want you to stay with me until the very last moment of this message, because what the universe is about to reveal is extraordinary. There is a spiritual investigation happening, not to punish you, but to affirm you. Forces both seen and unseen are gathering the final pieces, preparing to bring light to what has been hidden. You will soon see that the challenges you have faced were not random trials, but intentional steps shaping you into exactly who you need to be for this moment. Let me ask you something. What drew you here today? Was it the quiet pull of justice? The whisper of a higher power, sending you a sign disguised as a video? Or perhaps the voice of your own soul, reminding you that you are ready for the truth? Whatever it was, this connection between us right now is not accidental, it is alignment. In the minutes ahead, I will take you through 5 powerful layers of energy. Together, we will uncover the challenges that shaped you, the hidden patterns that have held you back, and the exact moment when the truth will break through the surface. This is not just another horoscope reading, it is a map, a set of divine coordinates for navigating what is about to come. So, stay with me. Keep your heart open and your spirit steady. The story we are about to enter is one you are meant to witness, and the role you will play is greater than you realize. The truth is coming, Libra, and you were chosen to stand in its light. There is a particular stillness that comes before a great revelation, and Libra, you are standing in that stillness now. The cosmic patterns unfolding around you are anything but random. In astrology, Pluto's current position and the angles it forms are like a magnifying glass held over hidden truths. This is investigative energy at its purest, a meticulous, unyielding force that does not rush, but also never relents. It works quietly, collecting every detail, every nuance, until the full picture can no longer be denied. That is what is moving through your life right now. For someone born under your sign, the energy feels almost personal. You are wired to notice when the balance tips, even slightly. The smallest misalignment in a conversation, a flicker of discomfort in someone's voice, or a contradiction between what's said and what's done, these do not escape you. You may not always have the evidence in your hands, but you feel it in your bones. This is the Libra gift, a natural attunement to truth, even when it hides in plain sight. When I speak of an investigation, it is not limited to law enforcement or human authority. It is more like a convergence of forces seen and unseen that have decided the time has come for clarity. In the same way that a gardener clears away debris so new plants can grow, this process is about removing what does not belong in your life so that what is genuine can take root. And like any good gardener, the universe knows exactly when the season is right. The momentum you feel now is a sign that the season for exposure has arrived. It might come as sudden news, a shift in someone's behavior, or the collapse of something that seemed untouchable. You could witness people around you having to answer for what they thought they had hidden away forever. This is not about revenge. It is about restoration, putting things back into their rightful order. And for Libra, who carries the symbol of the scales, this restoration resonates deeply with your core identity. In moments like these, it is easy to get pulled into the drama, to feel the urge to intervene, or to deliver your verdict before the process completes itself. But this is where your power lies, in staying grounded and letting the truth reveal itself without forcing it. Think of it like standing at the edge of a river. You can see the current moving, you know it will eventually bring the truth downstream to you. All you have to do is be present when it arrives. There is also a quiet reassurance in remembering that life has its own timing for justice. Even in busy, complicated days, there is a larger rhythm at work. Just as seeds need both time and the right conditions to sprout, the truth needs its moment. If you've ever planted something in your own life, an idea, a dream, a relationship, you know that you cannot pull at the roots to make it grow faster. The same patience applies here. When you hold to that patience, you create space for more than just answers. You make room for resolution. And resolution often brings peace, not because the past is erased, but because it is finally acknowledged. In this way, the investigative energy moving through your life now is an ally, not a threat. It is clearing the air so you can breathe more freely, walk more steadily, and trust more deeply in the ground beneath you. Libra, as this unfolds, remember that your role is not to chase the truth but to witness it. Your clarity, your balance, and your ability to hold steady in uncertain times will be the anchor others look to when the currents get rough. This is not the time to doubt that instinct. It has brought you here for a reason, and soon, you will see exactly why. Sometimes, Libra, the greatest challenge is not the storm outside but the quiet pressure you feel from within to act before you are ready. People may have mistaken your careful consideration for hesitation, labeling you as indecisive or afraid of confrontation. What they fail to see is that your pause is not weakness, it is wisdom. You were not made to rush headlong into situations without understanding the full scope of what you are dealing with. This is part of your design, and right now, it is being tested and refined. Astrologically, Pluto's current influence is sharpening your analytical depth, urging you to look beyond the obvious and into the patterns that lie beneath. This is paired with the subtler influence of Mercury and Venus, which heightens your sensitivity to false signals, mismatched intentions, and the quiet dissonance between what someone says and what they mean. Together, these energies give you a radar that is unusually precise. You can sense when the energy in the room shifts, when a smile hides tension, or when an opportunity is not as golden as it appears. In the language of tarot, this is the Justice card meeting the High Priestess, logic hand in hand with intuition, intellect walking beside insight. Justice calls you to measure every situation with a clear mind, while the High Priestess invites you to trust the knowledge that comes without words. This combination is rare, and it is exactly what you need now. It allows you to remain objective while still hearing the subtleties of your inner voice. The truth is, your ability to wait until you see the whole board before making your move is not a flaw. It is one of your greatest strengths. In a world that glorifies instant reactions, your refusal to be rushed makes you a guardian of clarity. You are the one who can step back far enough to see the connections that others miss. This is not about being passive, it is about being precise. Still, this gift comes with its own kind of pressure. There will be voices internal and external urging you to speed up, to choose, to decide. In those moments, remember that decisions made too quickly can create problems that take years to unwind. You have permission to move at the pace that keeps your mind clear and your heart steady. One of the most practical ways to maintain this clarity is to create space in your day for stillness. Meditation, even for just a few minutes, can quiet the noise enough for your real thoughts to surface. Journaling can anchor your reflections, making them tangible so you can return to them later and see how your understanding has evolved. These small, intentional practices are not luxuries, they are tools of self-mastery. In the same way that a skilled craftsman measures twice and cuts once, you are being called to measure the energy around you before you act. This is not about avoiding risk entirely but about aligning your actions with both the facts you can see and the truths you can feel. When you trust this process, you will find that the decisions you make are not only wiser but longer lasting. You will also notice that your patience creates a ripple effect, calming the people around you and allowing them to think more clearly too. In times of uncertainty, this is a gift. You have been given the rare balance of reason and intuition, and this is the exact combination that will carry you through the current chapter. Hold your pace. Honor your way of knowing. And remember that the right time to act is not when others demand it, but when your inner scale says the balance is true. There is a certain grace in letting the truth speak for itself, Libra. You may remember a time in your life when someone mistook your kindness for weakness, when they took advantage of your willingness to give without keeping score. Perhaps you chose silence then, not because you didn't have the words, but because you understood that forcing the truth into the open before its time often distorts it. You stepped back, even if it hurt, trusting that the moment of clarity would arrive without your intervention. And when it did, maybe years later, it was undeniable. Those who had twisted the story could no longer hold it together, and the reality unfolded for all to see. This is how universal justice often works. It is not always the thunderous gavel of a courtroom or the loud reckoning we imagine. More often, it is like a seed planted deep in the soil, invisible for a time, quietly drawing the nutrients it needs until one day it breaks the surface. Nothing can rush that process, not even your desire to see fairness restored. In the same way, the forces at play in your life now are gathering every fragment of truth, every detail, every misstep that has been hidden. The imagery of spiritual police is fitting here. Not because there is a literal force knocking on doors, but because there is a larger order at work, an unseen collection of principles, patterns, and consequences that cannot be escaped. Think of it as a meticulous investigation happening in the background, every piece of the puzzle being placed until the picture is clear. There is no need to push it forward. The moment will come when all that has been concealed will naturally emerge. Astrologically, these are times when certain transits emphasize accountability. The angles between Saturn and other planets create conditions where what is false cannot sustain itself. When you combine this with Pluto's deep investigative influence, the result is inevitable exposure. You, as a Libra, are especially attuned to this because your energy resonates with balance. You can sense when the scales are not even, and you hold an intuitive knowing that balance will always try to restore itself. In practical terms, the best position for you now is to remain an observer. This does not mean you are passive. It means you are grounded, steady, and aware, choosing not to get entangled in the emotional storms of others. You can still care deeply, but you do so without taking on the chaos. Your role is to keep strengthening your own foundation, your integrity, your clarity, your inner calm, so that when the truth surfaces, you are in the best position to respond wisely. This kind of patience is not always easy, especially in a world that glorifies quick reactions and public declarations. But there is strength in your restraint. It is the same strength that allows a tree to grow slowly yet endure for centuries, while faster-growing plants may wither in a single season. By choosing not to act prematurely, you are giving the truth space to emerge in its purest form. And here's the beauty of it: when justice arrives in this quiet, certain way, it leaves no room for denial. The clarity is so complete that even those who resisted it before cannot argue with what they see. That is the kind of resolution you are moving toward, a restoration that doesn't require your voice to be the loudest in the room, because your presence, your steadiness, and your unwavering alignment with what is right will speak volumes on their own. Soon enough, the balance will shift back into place. When it does, you will know that your patience was not in vain. You will see that by choosing stillness over reaction, you allowed something far more powerful than any argument to do the work for you. And in that moment, Libra, you will stand exactly where you were always meant to, calm, centered, and on the side of what is true. There are moments in life when the challenges in front of us are not just about the present, they are echoes of something older, patterns that have been carried forward through time without us even realizing it. Libra, you may have noticed how often you find yourself keeping the peace, choosing silence in situations where you feel the balance is off. Sometimes that choice comes from compassion, sometimes from exhaustion, and other times from a deep-rooted belief that avoiding conflict is the best way to protect harmony. But when that pattern repeats often enough, it becomes more than a habit, it becomes a cycle. Astrologically, this is where the energy of Saturn and the lunar nodes begins to work on you. Saturn, the planet of structure and accountability, asks you to face what has been long ignored, while the nodes of the moon point to the soul's past and future direction. The message here is clear: true justice does not come from keeping everyone smiling, it comes from honoring the truth, even if it temporarily disrupts the surface calm. A balance built on avoidance is not really balance, it's a fragile illusion, and sooner or later, life will test its strength. This is a powerful time to examine where these tendencies may have started for you. Were there moments in your early life, perhaps in your family, where speaking up was met with disapproval, or where keeping quiet kept the peace? Were there unspoken rules about not challenging authority or not questioning certain behaviors? These experiences can shape how we respond to injustice as adults, often without us realizing we're still following an old script. One of the most effective ways to bring these patterns to light is to write them down. Choose 3 moments from your past when you chose silence, even though part of you wanted to speak. Note what was happening, why you stayed quiet, and how it felt afterward. This exercise is not about judgment, it's about awareness. When we see our own patterns clearly, we create the opening to choose differently next time. Healing these cycles also requires self-compassion. You made the choices you did because, at the time, they seemed like the safest or wisest options. Now, as you recognize the pattern, you have the opportunity to shift it, not by swinging to the other extreme, but by finding a way to honor both truth and grace. This is where the act of releasing resentment comes in. Forgiveness, in this sense, is not about saying that the wrong was acceptable. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional weight it has placed on you, so that your voice can come from a place of clarity rather than pain. The process can be supported by simple yet powerful symbols. Wearing or surrounding yourself with the color blue can help align you with the energy of truth and clear communication. Blue is steady, calming, and honest. It helps you speak without aggression and listen without fear. In numerology, the number 7 is connected to deep insight and spiritual awakening. You may find that this number appears in moments when you are ready to see beyond the surface, to access a higher understanding of what's really going on. Breaking an old cycle takes courage, but it also brings a profound sense of relief. Each time you choose to honor the truth instead of the illusion of harmony, you strengthen your sense of self. Each time you allow your voice to be heard, you not only change your own story but also help reshape the unspoken rules that may have been carried in your family or environment for generations. This is the deeper work unfolding for you now. It is not loud or flashy, but it is transformative, and its effects will reach far beyond the present moment. Sometimes the truth doesn't tiptoe and it arrives like a sudden gust that knocks the door wide open. Libra, you may soon witness such a moment. The energy building around you suggests that what has been hidden will not stay buried much longer. It could come through something as formal as a legal proceeding, as calculated as a financial report, as unexpected as a stray email, or as human as a heartfelt confession. However it appears, it will carry the unmistakable clarity that confirms what your intuition has been quietly telling you all along. You were never imagining it, and you were right to trust your inner compass. In these moments, the temptation to react strongly can be powerful. You may feel the surge of emotions that comes when your suspicions are validated, especially if you have endured skepticism or dismissal from others. Yet your greatest strength in this chapter will be in holding your balance. This is not the time for retribution. It is the time to embody the equilibrium that defines your sign. You are not here to swing the pendulum violently in the other direction. You are here to steady it, to remind yourself and others what justice feels like when it is free of spite. Astrologically, this is the meeting of the Tower and Justice in terra firma, dismantling of structures built on illusion, followed by the restoration of right order. The Tower is never gentle, but it is always honest. It clears away what cannot stand so that the truth can take its place. Justice steps in to ensure that the clearing is not chaos for chaos's sake, but purposeful, measured, and fair. Together, these energies form a sequence that can be jarring to watch but deeply satisfying to witness, because they strip away pretense and leave only what is genuine. Being at the center of such an unfolding truth can feel like standing in the eye of a storm. Around you, events may be swirling, conversations shifting, alliances breaking, facts coming to light, but within that center, there is stillness if you choose it. Protecting your energy will be essential. Create a space in your home or workspace that feels clear and supportive. Light incense or burn sage to reset the atmosphere, open windows to invite fresh air and light, and allow yourself moments of quiet without outside noise. Limiting exposure to excessive or toxic information will help you keep your emotional field uncluttered, so that you can respond to events with discernment instead of being pulled into reaction. In a more personal sense, this is also a call to recognize the maturity you have cultivated. The person you are today is not the same as the one who first sensed the imbalance. You have grown through the waiting, the observing, and the patient gathering of perspective. This growth gives you the capacity to handle the truth's arrival with poise, even when it disrupts the world around you. And while it's natural to feel a quiet satisfaction when reality aligns with what you've known in your heart, the deeper reward will be in what happens afterward. You will have the chance to influence how the story moves forward, not by controlling it, but by modeling what it looks like to meet the truth without letting anger dictate your actions. Others may be watching, consciously or not, to see how you respond. Your steadiness could be the reason they choose integrity over retaliation in their own lives. What unfolds next is not just an ending to deception but an opening for something far more authentic to take root. When the dust settles, you may find that the relationships, opportunities, and environments left standing are stronger than before, precisely because they have been tested. And you, Libra, will know that you navigated the storm not by matching its chaos, but by standing as the calm that made clarity possible. Libra, as we close this journey together today, I want you to carry one truth in your heart. What is unfolding around you is not here to tear you down, but to confirm the strength you have built within. This investigation, whether it feels like a storm, a sudden shift, or a quiet unveiling, is not a verdict against you. It is the universe's way of showing that you have always been the measure of balance, the living embodiment of fairness. It is a reminder that even in silence, your integrity speaks louder than any noise. You are stepping into a moment where your presence alone can shift the energy of a room. You are the scale that stays steady when others are tipping, the calm that keeps perspective clear when emotions run high. And this is not about perfection, it is about alignment. It is about choosing, again and again, to stand on the side of truth, even when it is easier to look away. This is how you become a living scale, the proof that justice and truth can exist with grace, without shouting, without aggression, yet still with a power that nothing can diminish. So I ask you, what will you do with this moment? Will you choose to lean into the clarity you've been given, to use it as a guide for your next steps? Will you take what you've learned here and apply it in your conversations, your choices, and the way you hold yourself in the face of uncertainty? The opportunity in front of you is not just to witness change, but to be the example of how to walk through it with dignity. Every challenge we discuss today is also an invitation to see your patterns, to protect your energy, to trust your intuition, and to honor your timing. These are not abstract ideas, they are steps you can practice starting now. Begin by setting a boundary where you've been silent before. Clear your space and create an environment that supports your peace. Speak the truth with compassion when the time is right. Each small action reinforces the message that you are no longer simply reacting to life, you are shaping it. And remember, you are not alone in this. Every time you choose to hold steady, you send ripples into the world, showing others that calm strength is possible. You create a space where truth can surface naturally, without being forced. You are, quite literally, standing on the side of light, and that choice influences more than you may ever realize. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to declare it to yourself, to the universe, and to this community by writing in the comments, "I stand on the side of light." Not just as words, but as a commitment to carry this alignment forward in your daily life. When you write it, you affirm it. When you affirm it, you begin to live it. I want to thank you, from my heart, for spending this time with me today. Every like, every comment, every share, and every subscription brings you deeper into the family we are building here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot. Your support allows us to keep sharing messages that are meant to guide, uplift, and empower. I don't take your presence here for granted. It means you value growth, truth, and connection, and those are the very energies that will carry you forward. So hold on to that inner stillness, Libra. Carry it with you into whatever comes next. Let it guide your actions, calm your mind, and keep your spirit strong. This chapter is not the end, it's the confirmation that you are exactly where you are meant to be. And in that place, standing tall, you will be ready for the next opportunity, the next shift, the next blessing that the universe has prepared for you. I look forward to walking that path with you in the videos to come, as we continue exploring the new energy and the doors that are about to open. Until then, keep your balance, keep your light, and keep moving forward. You have everything you need.